complete miss most of the time.
Now, let me make that point because we've got a few minutes here while we're still trying to load. And I want to make this point for our newer viewers, is that if you've just started watching Dota and you're watching these pro matches and you're playing your pub matches, to me, that's the biggest difference between pub Dota and pro Dota, is that weak lanes will be punished in pro matches 100% of the time. And I think when a lot of teams see that Oracle in lane, especially early in the draft, you know exactly what kind of lane configuration you're then going to be up against with that hero. It gives away so much information, specifically early on.
Let's take a breather, step away from this matchup. As you already said, we're taking a moment to load into the game here. What about surprising pickups that have happened in this tournament? Unique grabs so far, or things that have found a lot of success. Like, for example, the return of the Queen of Pain now being 3-0 as opposed to her recent, very shaky track record. What else has been a surprising pickup so far?
Lifestealer. Those have been the two success stories. I guess Quap, I think, slightly less so because it was kind of like a fourth, fifth pick, and it's every now and then you see a Quap and you're like, yeah, it's good because all the other mids are banned out. But the Lifestealer was just picked because they wanted Lifestealer. It was not like all the other carries are banned. No, Lifestealer was the pick that these teams wanted to run.
And two completely different playstyles, too. That's what I thought was so amazing about the Lifestealer, was that you had the first game where Aggressive basically jumped into an Ancient Creep and walked out in front of his team, and they had 2 Blink Initiators behind him. And then the second game where ZYF played Lifestealer, just totally different playstyle, very, very mobility-focused team, where the Lifestealer builds a relatively early Blink Dagger as like a third item.
Yep.
I thought, to me, when a hero shows potential is when he can be used in different ways, in multiple playstyles, in multiple lineups. I was so impressed with that out of Lifestealer yesterday. The other thing in our last matches last night, I was very impressed seeing Na'Vi mix things up a little bit, running Ditya on the carry position Nature's Prophet, and then running General on the offlane Juggernaut. That was a very, very good call, by the way, by Ryuu. Called that out right away last night during the draft. Running General on that offlane Juggernaut. I think this is something that's been, when you talk about Na'Vi being back, possibly, this is something that's been missing for Na'Vi over the last 6-8 months, maybe even a couple years, the ability to run those lineups that the opposing team just doesn't expect.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the other thing I'm impressed with Na'Vi was just their general discipline. They're not making every now and then they get a bit too aggressive, but then they always followed up with like some calm, calculated play. So overall, that was a team that, like you mentioned, the hero diversity is there now, and they're looking strong.
So those are surprising hero pickups. What about grabs that used to be very popular and potent, but for this event just has been kind of off the radar a bit? One I was going to say was maybe Spectre, very, very popular. We saw OG play it one time with their nice little global strat, which worked out for them in Game 2 in their matchup against Na'Vi, but anything else?
So I have 3 responses, and the third is not really is
Perfect
an answer to a slightly different question. Okay,
let's do it.
So of course, one is going to be, I thought you'd see a little bit more Bat Rider in this tournament. A number of teams had been experimenting with him going in, specifically as a possible counter to the ODs, possible asset in the laning phase. Na'Vi had done that very effectively with a Wisp in their off lane. Haven't seen Bat Rider here. I thought you might see a bit of Phoenix as well. A lot of the pros still are talking about this 4-position Phoenix with that early Sunray build being much, much stronger in lane than when the hero used to be a primary offlaner. The other surprise to me, slightly different question from what you asked, Nature's Prophet is the most picked hero so far, was picked in 7 out of the 9 games yesterday, is only 2-5, and was never banned. So that was a little bit of a statistical surprise to me.
Yeah. I think Nature's Prophet is still a top pick personally. I think it was very much just like the teams and how they use it. Like VP are like, let's first pick Nature's Prophet because we're versing Alliance, so they don't get it. And Alliance was just the better team in that situation. So I think a lot of the teams losing it were just the teams who were who were kind of going into the matchups just with weaker game plans, and it was just like, let's pick this hero because he's a top meta pick. Yeah. The hero is still good. It was just always picked up in the wrong hands. It reminds me of the old, you go back a couple of years, Darkseid was in the same position where this hero kept getting nerfed, like patch after patch. Vacuum cooldown increased or whatever. And the hero had a 45% win rate or something, yet Ice Rock kept nerfing it because it was such a staple, easy, safe go-to pick that often it was like the slightly weaker, unfavored teams who would just keep picking it because it was just such an easy hero to play around. So.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, and I think it's almost the other side of the coin from what we were saying about Queen of Pain, that it's less about the hero than about the teams picking it and the situations in which it's being picked, for sure.
Looks like we Did we fail again? Yeah, so our
Yeah, looks like
third
it.
swing at trying to load into this draft unfortunately did not work out, so we'll continue to wait a bit. If you wouldn't mind, we can go ahead and throw up the schedule for today so we can see what's in store for us when we get into the Dota action. I want to hear what you guys think is going to be the most highly anticipated matchup for today, or maybe just something you're looking forward to seeing. For me personally, I'm looking forward to, maybe it's biased because I get to cast it, but the next matchup, MVP versus OG, when it's like do or die, especially for a team like OG.
I am basically frothing at the mouth for all three of our final three series because MVP and OG, I just think there's so much on the line, especially for OG, but also for MVP trying to avoid slumping after their big finish at Shanghai and then the win at Dota Pit. LGD and Alliance, I think, are the two teams that have played the highest level Dota here so far, and we're getting to see that matchup on only the second day. And then, I mean, vg.reborn, it was just so crazy seeing them play at the level that they played yesterday with a stand-in. I want to see whether they can come back again today and show me that same level of Dota. Once again, Navi is going to finish out the day here. You're going to hear the loudest yells out there from the crowd, and that is a hype matchup. I might sneak out there myself and do a little bit of yelling.
And from what Ryuu was saying, and he was our expert for Navi for yesterday, he says they're a team that just continues to go, go, go. And, well, we saw VG Reborn out MVP.
Yeah.
This has got to be an absolute bloodbath, gods.
VG Gaming Reborn love having teams play fast tempo against him. I feel like so much of it is FY and like what he brings to the table, because that was like kind of his play style and what would make VG Gaming strong in the past. So
we finally have a draft. There it is, folks.
Let's
do it. It's time. Game number 1, Virtus.Pro versus Vega Squadron. Let's get it underway. Star Ladder I-League Invitational action.
Wow.
Here we go.
And already a big surprise to me. So Vega Squadron go to the OD ban, much like LGD did, much like was used against Virtus.Pro yesterday. Virtus.Pro banned the Invoker themselves, which is a little bit of a puzzle to me considering how much that OD Invoker ban duo, how much that did damage to them in the games yesterday.
So already a lot of targeting towards that mid lane here. Now the big question, Vega obviously probably going to look to let Enchantress slip through. We anticipate Virtus.Pro will then ban it, so then you have stuff like the Earth Spirit getting in there nice and early, and Nature's Prophet possibly. So and then you have the Chen. So there is a lot to think about here already with the second bans.
Again, the other thing that surprises me about the Invoker ban is that Vega Squadron have first pick, and so it's now guaranteed that they're going to get either that Beastmaster or the Enchantress. They're going to have the choice between the two.
Okay, we're going to see some popular pickups here already. I don't see any reason why Vega would not want to go for the Enchantress here and now. This is a golden opportunity, and it's been a undefeated record for Solo on that Enchantress. What is it, 5-0? 8-0?
It was 8-0 in the patch. Yeah.
Now, if you're Virtus.Pro and you anticipate this Enchantress picks coming your way, what do you think could be their plausible best 1-2 punch to consider going against it?
And normally I'd be like, you want to grab the Beastmaster, but Enchantress is always like not pretty good against the Beastmaster because you can steal the Necrobooks, you can steal his Boar, his Hawks in fights. So that's where the option between the Enchantress and Beastmaster to me is like you want to go for the Enchantress most. If it's like you're thinking like they're of equal value, the Enchantress is the counter pick to the Beastmaster. So I'm not sure if you want to go Beastmaster or Virtus.Pro. I think more likely we see them just go for that Nature's Prophet. That's been just really common for them.
Yeah, but then you give Vega Solo's Enchantress and Mag's Beastmaster.
You've got to play to your strengths. I think is ultimately the story for Virtus.Pro. Like draft something that's going to work for you, and then as a secondary notion, worry about what Vega's going to do.
I don't know. Yeah. They did that against Alliance. Alliance got their 2 drafts.
I would still, if I'm VP, there you go. Okay, I was going to say I would still think about denying the Beastmaster to Vega, but I think these are 2 heroes that you clearly feel quite comfortable with. We need to see a better performance yesterday than yesterday out of Solo. He played the Doom himself for Vega Squadron. And he's going to be on a hero that he plays much better on. I'm so nervous about giving Vega this particular combo.
This is the dream if you're a Vega fan right here. So they get their Mag Beastmaster off lane, who is very capable of being able to kind of take any sort of matchup, even a 1v2. And now Solo, as you can see right there, he's jittering with excitement. Enchantress coming his way.
I do. I mean, I do like the Doom against a team like Vega because they tend to pick snowbally heroes. They're going to tend to have a hero like an Ursa or like an Invoker on Unknown that you're going to want to shut down and is a prominent Doom target. But still, I just think you gave Vega Squadron exactly the two heroes that they want.
In good news, Oracle was not first to picked by Virtus.Pro.
Oh,
it
thank
does get
goodness.
banned in the second stage. Vega obviously recognizing, yeah, it's pretty good against the Raw, but I don't think it's even a... They're banning it more because they know Virtus.Pro like to run the support rather than the support necessarily being like a top pick.
Follow-up ban appears to be an Ember Spirit here from Virtus.Pro. I don't see... I mean, is it that potent of a grab right here? I don't even know if Vega have been playing a crazy amount of Ember Spirit. Have they? Maybe it's just that could be something that they're preparing for themselves.
Pasha used to play it all the time. It was one of his heroes that kind of drove Vega to their initial success, and FN I think has a couple games on it here and there.
But they already had a
only
Doom
1 and
as
3
well.
on it, but
no?
Doom's actually not too bad for Ember because the Doom cast time means you can pretty much always Remnant away. I actually think Doom does not particularly counter Ember Spirit very well. At least the split push stage of the game in a team fight, he's often going to be a top Doom target, but Doom effectively is going to take whichever carry or core out of a fight for the duration of Doom, regardless of what it is. So there's some which it matters more, and there's some where you're Wraith King, it probably doesn't matter at all. But most carries or mids are going to be like, well, I'm doomed. I can't do anything.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about with Vega before the draft was the fact that they're basically slotted in FN, and they're picking FN the heroes that they used to pick for Pasha, and Ember Spirit's certainly one of those prominent heroes. You know, again, the big question. Vega Squadron opted to ban supports with their next few bans. If I were Vega, I would have strongly considering directing my bans toward the mid lane.
Yeah, it was just the one OD ban. I guess the Invoker ban kind of helping give them an additional ban towards that direction. But the Queen of Pain is something we kind of mentioned. The Lina you did. The other hero that's probably been a bit more popular is the Puck, still available for mid for both teams right now.
I've been enjoying the Quap versus Puck Fistful of Tangos matchups we've been seeing. That's when I feel like mid laners really get to show their stuff. But here now, as you mentioned, Vega targeting another support. They get rid of the Witch Doctor, typically very nice to have going against these heavy creep summons like your Enchantress, like your Beastmaster. Do you think there's any good reason that Vega could ramp up their push game even further at this point? Already sporting the Beastmaster Enchantress?
I mean, I think Vega can pick whatever they want at this point, honestly. And I think the other hero that we probably should talk about for G is the Death Prophet.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Zeus banned out, so...
Okay.
They go right for Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Also a little bit of a deny pick there.
And this, to me...
Very good against the Enchantress, of course.
So it's good against Enchantress. It gives them Roche taking potential, and it really suggests Virtus.Pro. They want to pick a hero that's going to give them a much clearer game plan. And I think that was part of the problems when I talked about them not having any direction yesterday. It's also the drafts didn't really lead to an obvious direction. When you've got this Nature's Prophet Ursa, you're looking to hit that timing where you get the first Roshan 10 to 12 minutes into the game. Then you transition to taking down towers. So there's a much kind of clearer approach to the game, much kind of more obvious flow where you go from one objective to the next, Roshan tower, get a kill, smoke pick off, then you go into a tower after that when you've got a hero like Ursa on your team.
Yeah, but here's the thing I don't like about it is that you put yourself in a situation now where Ursa really does need to get Roche to excel, and you don't necessarily have, you're not necessarily going to have the strongest 5v5 lineup to take those big fights around the Roche pit.
This is pretty much the draft that Vega did yesterday against LGD with the Ursa Nature's Prophet. I think they had the Doom that game as well on solo. Yeah, so this is
that was
it's
their
funny.
game one.
I'm looking at this like, this is actually the draft Vega did, and I mean, Vega lost the game, but I think it was never a drafting problem. So
well, but Vega, because they were in this draft yesterday, they understand exactly how to counter it. And what did LGD do? They controlled tempo. They took it to the late game. And with a Spectre against an Ursa, there's no question the game gets out to 45 minutes, and you're going to dominate.
I can't help but be a little bit nervous here for Virtus.Pro. Doesn't this feel very heavy single target? I fear for their team fight a bit. Not a lot of AoE to work with here. Good split push game, of course, with your Nature's Prophet, but everything else seems a lot of hate for just one person. And now you have a Puck, and you have a Spectre on the side of Vega. I feel like when a 5v5 or even a 4v5 or anything breaks out, like Vega are going to really have the advantage at that point.
VP have to get the jump in any team fight that's going to happen. If VP aren't the ones getting the initiation, because if they're getting the initiation, it means that someone's getting Doom, which even if they don't die, it means they're not getting off their spells. There's no Raw, there's no Puck nukes coming out. And then they also want to make sure that the Lion can get off his combo, like Hex, Impale, into Finger, kill a hero right at the start of the fight. If VP can get the initiation, I think they can team fight, but if Vega ever like catches them by surprise, which, I mean, looking at this, Vega are the ones with the vision advantage. They've got Beastmaster, so VP getting the initiation is a hard task in itself. So this game, the smoke usage from VP becomes very important because of that.
Yeah, I hate to go back to it, but I still like the Lina pickup here for G. I think it does really, you can Laguna down the Enchantress. You can lane pretty well against the puck. It gives you that AoE damage output that you're going to need. You are going to have to eventually fight 5v5 against this Vega lineup, I feel.
I don't mind the lane. It feels like a very squishy option for the mid lane. You're at this point, like, you're worried about, like, anytime Lina gets roared, she's dead. The Spectre Haunt can pretty much just be used to kind of go in the Lina as well. Like a puck blink silence with a Spectre Haunt follow up. That's a dead Lina most of the time. So I don't know what's kind of like the in-between option where you've got something that can dish out a lot of damage, kind of fit G's playstyle, and also have some survivability. But the Death Prophet, I guess, would have kind of fit the bill.
That's I very much like, by the way, that Crystal Maiden ban by VP. Okay. Wow, we're gonna bring back another kind of throwback here. We had some success on the Wind Ranger at the Shanghai Major, but she's been kind of out of the metagame since the nerfs.
Yeah, this will be her first
Wind
appearance
Ranger
here.
is very impressive.
It's very, very good. We haven't seen it in a while.
I like this option because it does have that bit of extra survivability, which is kind of like, how do you actually stay alive against the puck with the blink, like a blink initiation and a Spectre Horn, or if you ever get roared, you're just dead. So Wind Ranger at least has a bit more options there. They've got no defensive support here, which is a bit of a concern.
But I go back to Dakota's point now.
Single target.
Yeah, you are
even
so
more single target. One person's going to get a lot of hate here, but for everyone else, they're going to thrive. You have a Spectre Haunt coming out, and it's still going to kind of get up in your grill. Still can't help but feel a little bit nervous for Virtus.Pro, but if they're able to kind of move around the map, get their objectives, get those pickoffs, and just build up in the economy game, it could turn out to be very profitable for them. The last pick for Vega was a dazzle, and we haven't seen him yet this tournament here, so a bit of a throwback on that one. We'll make this brief, gentlemen, based on the draft predictions, so we can get our trophies.
All day.
Vega all day?
I'm going to go with VP. I feel good about this draft.
Well, I was going to go with Vega, so I'm glad we don't have all three of the same. Vega, and VP. We'll throw it over to our casters there in the Cybersport Arena. We got Ayesee and Ryuu who are going to bring you the coverage.
Greetings and salutation, guys. Welcome into day 2 of the Star Ladder I-League Invitational. As mentioned, I'm Ayesee. To my side, of course, Ryuu. First time we've had a chance to broadcast together, my friend. Really excited to get going. And a really interesting draft and a great series to get things going for us as well. We're talking CIS Showdown right now. As they mentioned, the fact that one of these two teams popular here in the hometown are going to be going home. Tell me your first thoughts when you look at the draft and how things are going to end up looking as they play out on the map.
Well, me and Fog were kind of discussing it off the screen here, as you kind of can't see. They need a lot of levels on VP's lineup here early on. So if, Vega, they can start getting their levels, put a lot of aggression out with their Enchantress early. We can see them being around the map constantly with their Beastmaster, with their Spectre, and it could be a very short game, and I think Vega could take it.
I think we're ready to jump on in as we've got both teams hanging around. Looked like there's going to be some poking and some prodding, but a little bit of a retreat now. But again, beautiful, beautiful stage here in the arena. And if you happen to be nearby, make sure you come on by. As a lot of great Dota left to go, as well as a great atmosphere for here for any esports fan. So you missed it as they were kind of poking around. It looked like maybe we were going to see Vega cross the river and try to do something, but did not take place. The horn will sound. And as we see who picks up the runes, we'll take a look at who's going to be handling who. No one will be happy to take one bounty rune, and it'll be G on the Wind Ranger who takes the others. So starting with Vega, Dazzle, going to be handled by Seoma, and I did learn how to say it for today, thank goodness, and thanks to Ryuu for helping me nail down my pronunciation before that. We're going to have Solo playing on the Enchantress. Puck's going to be handled by No One. The Spectre played by FN, and the Beastmaster handled by Mag out in the off lane for Virtus.Pro. FNG is going to be on the Prophet. He's on the Dire side off lane. Yoku going to be playing on Ursa, farming up in the safe lane top. G's going to be taking the Wind Ranger mid as mentioned. It's going to be Aloha Dance, starting out in the jungle as the Doom, and that 5 support Lion played by No Fear.
What they wanted to do, both teams would ideally kind of block off both these camps around here, and they would like to have it for the Beastmaster as well as the Enchantress, as well as the greedy Doom that we talk about. If you could block out those camps early, but No Fear is just getting punished right now, and that's just the problem. You're going to see how effective Beastmaster is going to be against kiting this Ursa, so picking an Ursa into a Beastmaster, it's kind of questionable when you have all that slow, but we're going to have to see if they can make it work here.
So, the off lanes are where we're going to have to keep an eye on. Like you said, Mag is playing ultra aggressive and is one of the more aggressive, and if we're honest, one of the more effective off laners in Dota today. But let's talk briefly about this mid matchup, my friend. This is a bit of a throwback. Puck, has been seeing a bit more play now, and it's a lot of fun to see such a high skill cap hero come back into the meta. And then the Wind Ranger, who, as mentioned by the panel, has kind of been out of things. How do you see this playing out, and what do you think is going to be important on both sides?
I like the Wind Ranger pickup for one reason, and that's the Enchantress going to be maybe rotating around constantly. And you can see she's already having a net creep. If you have 2 of those, maybe that's going to nullify the Wind Run here. But at the same time, yeah, Puck, it's about as even as you can get in the mid lane. It's kind of like against that. Oh, we're going to get very aggressive here, trading the blows. And yeah, you just see it's kind of like the Puck versus the Queen of Pain, as we talked about yesterday. It all comes down to that rune that first rune, and they're going to be contesting it here.
Yeah, but it will be picked up by the Dune. So Aloha Dance taking that away from Mag. Mag's going to give him a few pats on the back as he chases him into the jungle. He may keep going here. He is quite low. He does have Scorched Earth if he gets too panicked, and yeah, he's going to have to use it, but he's still taking a lot of damage. He does devour the boar. Still a lot of damage. Here comes FNG. First blood likely to be on the way. No, manages to round the corner, and let's see, can Mag catch him? He's got boots, so does the Doom. The boar's right there. Got one more shot on him, but he is under his own tier 2.
Meanwhile, mid lane, they're going to be wrapping around onto G. He's going to get caught nice body blocks.
Oh, there's the net and the follow-up, as no one's going to be the one to gather first blood. Now up atop, Mag stunned out. He's trying to make a run now in the wrong direction. He's going to end up dropping, so very quickly things get hairy on both sides. 1-1 now, all knotted up.
Yeah, but they were forced to rotate 4 heroes up there, AC, just to kill a Beastmaster. Oh, man, that's well worth it for Vega Squadron there, and shutting down the mid, as we talked about. That's their tempo controller for both teams, and no one's going to have a really nice start here.
Yeah, like I was wondering if this is going to be another one of those games where you see the mid-game aggression, you see how things can get active early, but maybe it's just status quo for a little while. Instead, both teams being willing to jump around the map and make something happen. Big beneficiary there is the Spectre now leading in CS, just a few on top of the Ursa, but the Enchantress, as you mentioned, is really looking good with farm. Already level 4, just dinged it, is gone with a 1-1-1 build. We'll see where that next point does end up going, but the boots are coming out across the board. It's going to be a set of phase boots for Ursa and Doom, picking up his tranks.
It's really nice that Enchantress kind of like stacked the jungle there with the Wild Wind, and Solo's been able to get a lot. So this will help him transition into some items like a drums or anything to help out his team, and then even to, into later game with the Dragon Lance as well as the Ag. So they can have a potential another carry alongside their Spectre, since he went for this, ultra farm early on, and he already got a gank in the mid lane. So playing really well right now.
Yeah, this should be a pretty quiet bottom lane, at least until we see any kind of pressure come out of Virtus.Pro. What do you think is going to be the most important for VP here? I mean, they've got this Ursa Warrior. We know Fuzzy Wuzzy is able to really put the screws to you if he wants to, if he builds that way, and if they just take that approach. Is that going to be more important, or is it going to be more important for... Oh, hang on, there's going to be a stun. No fear, already bursted way down. Tried to heal up through it, not able to do so. Solo, taking quite a bit of damage, but the Nature's Attendant's keeping him up and fighting. Yoku making a run for his tier 1. And a little bit of damage, not quite enough. The axes were on cooldown. Maybe with the axes he could have gotten enough damage to bring him down. Instead, remains just a 1-for-0 trade as Vega now leads 2-1.
That's the problem when you see this Enchantress that can just do everything. And Aloha, he's kind of forced to use his Devour, but if Enchantress just brings, 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 creeps, it's so hard to counterplay. And then you just see how effective Mag is kiting just with a level 2 boar there. And so I'm very worried for VP. They just have to get their levels up and make sure they don't feed. So right now, 2-1 score. I think it's going to favor VP a little bit right now.
Yeah, VP, I mean, VP's currently trailing about 1,100 gold, and usually that's not an amount you make a big deal out of, but at just 5 minutes, it kind of is, especially with a Spectre sitting on top for Vega as well. So VP, I think, is going to be feeling a little pressure, and now Aloha Dance shows himself. But if you're VP, what's the move now? You're at 5 minutes in, it's a good time to get aggressive. You're on Dire side, maybe thinking of invading the Radiant jungle. What's the approach?
They're just going to have to counterplay. They can't play aggressive at all until they get their levels. I mean, maybe Furion, if he can TP in and they can get a kill on no one if he plays very aggressive in the mid lane. Else that I'm not seeing where they can get a kill. Maybe if, Mag oversteps his boundaries in the top lane, but it's going to be all on Vega putting the pressure here early on. And And we're going to have to see if this first haunt is going to be successful because FN just got his level 6.
Level 6-minute rune. Yep, there's a coil. Mag's right there with him. He is not level 6, doesn't have a roar, not going to need it. As that's going to be another kill going the direction of Vega and this Wind Ranger. 0-2 to start this game, so rough going for VP.
It's just really nice so far. No one is stepping up their game, as well as Vega just rotating around the map, and talked about it in the draft. Very greedy. They need levels, and well, I really want somebody to pick up this haste rune. I mean, that last gank was set up by no one with the double damage that allowed him to have the DPS when he was TPing out. Else, he wouldn't have been able to kill him. Now he's going to have a haste rune to work with, AC. Oh, man, this guy is just going to be on fire.
Let's see. Is he going to bottle it and save it? He just picked up his treads. Nah. Looks like he's going to head right back to lane. Hasn't procced it yet. And but definitely a lot of potential to get aggressive. Worth mentioning the Prophet, who largely has been zoned. He's been just kind of poking and prodding around. Not the best CS, sitting at 17, but he is coming up on level 6. So FNG's done a good job. Even sprouts in FN just to get a little bit extra damage and make things a little more complicated. Now, though, this top lane has been all but abandoned to Yoko.
Oh, Aloha, I got that.
Oh.
We got the nice haste rune scouting him out. Trying to figure out if there was a creep, maybe. Look at this little wild wing. Maybe it scouted him out, or trying to figure out how no one knew he was there.
Yep.
Nice game sense.
Now 4-1 now. And it looks like VP has got to do something, man. I know you just said aggression's not really an option, but I mean, is it just maybe try to sneak a Roche and try to get back some momentum? Because they're now down 2,500 gold at 8 minutes. I mean, that is considerable.
All their initiation is kind of with the Lion plus the Doom, and they need their levels to have that burst damage. And it's all coming out in like Ursa right now. He needs to start getting those levels so he can have more impact with his overpower. And yeah, if you go off the map, it's going to be very obvious when you do Roche. And they have a lot of things to scout it out with the Enchantress creeps, with the Beastmaster Hawk. So Roche for VP, they're only going to get it if they win a big team fight.
Puck just got himself a regen rune. So going to allow him to stay out on the map at least a little bit longer. We can see the Beastmaster's Hawk being chased down by No Fear.
Oh my God, look at No Fear's items too.
Man, looks like me when I play Lion. Playing the 6th position. But yeah, this is, I mean, when you look, he's got exactly 1 CS, by the way. Kind of guy that makes a PPD 5 position look rich.
No, this is not good. When you don't have your boots initiation for the Lion, it's like you're going to have to bank on all the smokes or maybe a Sprout to hold in the enemy. But yeah, Vega are doing a nice job just kind of farming up their levels. They're just taking it easy now after they use their ultimates with the Spectre, farming up a bit. They got the Urn online. They got the level 6 on the Enchantress talked about. That's going to help out with the DPS. And they're just getting all the items right now for Vega. I'm very worried for VP. And I just don't see an opportunity for them to get kills without their ultimates on these 2 supports.
No, I think you're 100% right. The more I look at it, I mean, that's got to be terrifying too. You know, the Beastmaster is now level 7. He's shown himself, so I mean, obviously they've seen the Roar is going to be ready and available if they decide to try and smoke and do something with it. The Enchantress is level 7. I mean, just looking all across the board, yeah. And this is, I think, the play. VP smoking 3. They just finished the Mask of Madness on Ursa. I don't think it was spotted, and they're going to go ahead and head into the Roche pit and just hope it's not noticed. Well, are they actually going to go for a gank instead? Yeah, it looks like they're going to spread out.
It's because that Hawk, they just ate the Hawk, and then they immediately went in. But they know that's just textbook. You can't go for the – that's the only play they can make right now for VP, and it's very worrisome. They're gank – or they're all grouped up here.
Yep. Oh, Dazzle's level 7 as well, by the way. I hadn't even mentioned him. Just saw him toss down a nice weave. That's going to make it very difficult for Virtus.Pro to fight into anything. I mean, yes, Ursa could just chew through your heroes, but if you manage to prioritize the weave on your own heroes, I mean, that armor makes a huge difference in the burst potential. So looks like they're ready to take the Tier 1 bottom, though. Is this something you think VP can respond to?
No, you're just going to have to split push, get as many levels as you can right now for the enemy. It's, yeah, VP at least going to be harassing a lot. They can do the deep push nice and effectively with the Wrath of Nature as well as the power shot constantly. And he has the Arcane Rune to work with here for G. But fighting 5v5 is a no-go right now.
FN leading the way. Level 8 for him. Drums just about done. And they will go ahead and use the glyph, just buying time, as you had mentioned. This is giving them some time to get some things together, though. Looks like Aloha Dance will be grabbing the mech. as he's already picked up the buckler to go with his strengths. Was going to ask about this Nature's Prophet. What do you think the build is here? He's picked up the bracer and the full wand again. Saw that yesterday. I actually really dig it. Makes him a little bit more survivable against early aggression. But what's the transition there from him?
For Aloha?
Yep.
He's a lot of times it's weird to say because if you have Mechanism online for the Doom, then you don't have enough mana for a lot of your spells. But they get to mid lane. You have the initiation on No Fear is going to be caught out. That's just the unveiling of the blink, and then they're going to be pushing. But back to the question at hand, it's more so they get it for the armor, and there's a lot of physical DPS coming out from Vega Squadron this game. So he might just want to help buff up his allies with that armor in these team fights, especially when you're going against this weave.
Yep. What about the Furion? I was actually referring to Furion in particular as my bad. I thought I got my heroes mixed up. But yeah,
well,
what do you think's the build, the approach from Furion here?
It's going to be very difficult for him because he wants to go for the jumps to help out with the movement speed for his allies, but afterwards he would ideally like to get, an Orchid or something to shut down the puck, but with no one having such an amazing start, he's going to have his Yules at a fast time. So you can't really go for that early Orchid to shut down the puck anymore, and they're just going to have to maybe split push with Ags now, I think, on FNG.
Looks like we might have a fight down here in the pit. As VP's showing it, there's going to be a Sprout on the solo. Shackle's there. Damage simply isn't. There's going to be the finger as well, but there's no follow-up. So now that's on cooldown, and now they're going to reinitiate. There's going to be a roar onto FNG. He's going to be brought down. The rest of VP is sent running. And let's see if they can actually catch them. No one's going to be hexed out but Solo there. And that's a lot of damage coming out of that Enchantress. So VP once again knocking on the door of Roche's pit, sent packing. And that's a 7-1 lead now for Vega as they are built up a 4,000 gold, 4,000 experience lead. And we're just at 12 minutes, ready to take a tier 1 mid as well.
I'm scared because they didn't even use Coil during that fight. They didn't even use Haunt. VP have no answers right now.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Ryu. It looked like they're just what I didn't sense that there was a big game plan on how to initiate.
Yeah, it's like, what do? You need Blink Dagger on your Ursa, and then when he's running in with a Mask of Madness, he's just going to get, roared constantly. They don't have anything to help him when he gets roared either. Like, you don't have that Oracle that the panelists talked about a lot that you would love to take off. You don't have a Vengeful Swap to work with. It's just very hard right now for VP to do anything.
Taking a look at net worth. Puck is atop the board, actually. It's 6,800. Spectre right there. Below him, it is a little bit closer between the Spectre and the Ursa than I would have thought. And G's Wind Ranger actually doing quite well, sitting at number 4. But all in all, you can see the separation taking place. And a big part of that 4,000 gold lead we're talking about is the separation between the Dazzle and the Lion, which is just about 2,000 on its own. So Lion, a hero who's going to be able to output damage with level 6, but Vega's going to outscale that before long in terms of their own levels, in terms of how really lethal that feels. And with no blink, that initiation is not going to be helped at all. And he's a million years away from a blink dagger.
They just need to split push as effectively as they can, but they're already defending these towers. And when you're not getting them as VP, you're just not getting any gold.
Yoku spotted out. There was a weave that went into the pit. They're going to be responding to this. Maybe. I thought they were.
They have Haunt. He could steal it here. FN. Is he going to drop anything? I'm checking him right now. Oh.
There's the Haunt. And nope. The Ursa got it, but they are going to engage up. And the Mag's going to roar through the trees. FNG caught. That's a 3-man coil. They're going to try to follow it up. They have to kite the Ursa, though. Shackle shots there. FN has been doomed, eating a lot of damage from G. Is it enough? It will be. This is a big win for VP if they're able to make it away. Nope, they already lost the Aegis, so not the best situation. That Shackle doesn't latch. Vega trying to pursue them. 2-man weave as Aloha Dance and G are looking for home. Nope, Enchantress is there. Follow-ups there. Aloha trying to use the trees. No! Brought down. That's a double kill for Solo's Enchantress. It did cost Ursa the Aegis. He had saw it as well. So VP manages to get a little work done, but all in all, that fight coming out in favor of Vega.
Yep. I mean, at the end of the day, you just want to get rid of the Aegis. That's all that VP have going for them is when they can have that and potentially take a team fight on their terms, but not having it now they can't, and this is just looking very bad for VP. And Vega did a really nice job there, and still getting as many kills as you can on Yoku is going to help out a lot. He needs to get that Blink Dagger, but essentially he needs to have – it's very hard to say what he needs this game because – one, BKB is not going to help you with that piercing roar AC, so it's like, maybe it's the eggs. I think this game is where you can have eggs. So with the change to that with the Ursa, you can immediately, when you get roared, you ulti, you take it off. So,
Yep.
but the problem still will be the kiting with this Beastmaster.
He's got a fair amount of gold, and it looks like Courier just got sniped somewhere. Is that correct? Or is that a bug on my screen?
No, Courier did die, I think, the Radiant one.
Yeah.
Too bad I can't highlight it. Dakota's hotkeys suck.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I can't find it either. Either way, yes, Courier died, nothing on it, but still. Another win for Virtus.Pro there as they're continuing to hold this, and we can see, looking at the golden experience, they have leveled off, so they have managed to stop the bleeding. Here we go, they're going to engage. No one in some trouble. Will use his Yules, bought it right before this fight. Now there's going to be a roar. Oh, beautiful coil coming out of the phase shift. Follow up as Dazzle hits the Shadow Wave. Good damage. Mag going to be caught with the Grave. Yoku being kited, being brought down by Solo's Enchantress, who is dominating this game. That's 3-0 as Vega erases whatever comfort zone VP had built, and now they're marching down mid lane. Tier 2 seems to be the target.
Yeah, this is just a no-one show. Everybody sit back and relax. 5-0 Puck right now, just showing off, teaching Miracle how it's done, but oh, he's just having a blast right now for no one.
Such a fun hero to watch, man. I'm so happy to see this hero being played as frequently as he is now.
And it's just showing you how well he can do it. I mean, props to him. I think Puck is just one of those heroes that just show how really like individually skilled a player can be. He can just get in and out of things mechanically skilled wise. Sure enough, it's going to be a really nice game for him. And then you might have to consider banning it out next game for no one, because this is one of the things about no one. He only plays Puck and Queen of Pain absolutely perfectly all the times when you watch him.
Drums out on the Enchantress now. Dragonlance, of course, in the inventory with it. Dazzle's picked up a Staff of Wizardry. We'll see what direction he wants to go with that. Again, no one having picked up that Yules just before.
I mean, if he picks up a Dagon, it's like, get out of my game, guys.
Yep.
We've already won. Oh, but that should be a 4-staff.
Looks like the Manta's coming out after the Urn Drums opening from the Spectre. Nothing particularly odd about that. Book is up, and yeah, they're going to go ahead and upgrade the book. I was wondering, we saw yesterday a couple of instances of going book 1 then blink, instead just going straight up for book upgrades after that. How do you feel about that? What's your thoughts on it's a small thing, but we have seen it make a big difference.
Yeah, when they lack initiation, you normally want to have that blink dagger early, but because they have no one, they have FN here playing this amazing Spectre. They have all the initiation they really need, so building up the book 3 is going to help out a lot when they just want to go for those solo pickoffs if he wants to around the map.
So how about you be Captain Ryuu now? You're sitting in...
Well, there's no captaining anymore.
Yeah, I don't think you want this to happen, Captain. G, next to drop. That's... Oh, wow.
This ship is sinking, AC.
Just a bit, as Vega really bouncing back, you know. We saw... yesterday, I mean, I think the panel was correct in saying that Vega had to come into this as the favorite, as they really took it to LGD. It was a great series, a lot of fun to cast. I was actually on that one in the play-by-play, and it was great playing. Yoku, I mean, just look how unbelievably quick Yoku dies. Solo just, oh my God, he almost two-shot, no fear.
He's
like
got 693 HP, and he's so slow. It's like, do.
Like, he literally almost two-shot him. But yeah, like Vega showing why they came in as the favorite. They're playing good Dota. They just ran into a tough LGD team yesterday. And if you're Virtus.Pro, I mean, you know, you always want to say never say die, and you play to the Ancients Dead, and what have you. You have to at least somewhat be looking ahead to what went wrong here and what you can correct for next game.
Right.
Like, is part of it just don't give him Enchantress? Is that just part of the answer?
Well, you can understand why this hero was kind of like most banned. I mean, it just gets everything done early on, and I think another big thing is just not too greedy with your supports where you can actually get stuff done around the map, and it's just, right now, Virtus.Pro can't find the initiations they really want, and it's just really well executed from Vega, just not feeding in the lanes. They did everything perfectly, and oh my goodness, Solo is just, you know, you have a support Enchantress, 3rd on net worth right now, higher than your Ursa.
VP's gone for a 3-man smoke as well. This is desperation time, and they didn't find anyone at home. They're going to go ahead and wrap back around the tree line, or the ridge line, I should say, near the Ancients. So I like the thought process. They know they're really in a deep hole, 13,000 gold or so deep hole. and they've got to get something going. But other than desperation smokes, I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure Vega can just march down a lane and just be like, you know what, you can even try to outpush us. We don't care. We're just going to march as 5 down bottom. And that seems to be the approach.
No, this is going to be hard for them to defend, trying to figure out what initiation they can really do for VP. They kind of need to have G having a blink dagger and him hitting a miraculous, 2-man shackle or something, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case.
And their heroes are tanked up to the point now that, that deep push that we had talked about, having the Nature's Wrath, having Power Shot and so on, that just is not even enough. Like, they're going to be able to tank towers with their heroes if they feel like it, and they have such good initiation, counter initiation. I don't know that they're just too worried about it. And we'll see if they're just going to, they're just going to go straight up to the high ground and it's fine. Here we go, Sprouts there. Again, 2 shots, and the Prophet of, hang on, there's going to be a jump by Yoku. Great Grave, and now that's going to buy Solo enough time to pull back. Battles joined on the high and the low. Aloha Dance got off nothing but 1 stop before being brought down. And the rest of VP has to retreat. FNG almost died to it again. Mag's going to be there. He's spent Roar already. He's trapped in the trees. Yoku's going to find him, able to focus him down, but not before a lot of damage is done. Solo is doomed, though. Aloha Dance on the buyback, trying to make something happen in this fight. It might be enough to keep them together as FNG being chased by the Necro Creeps nearly died. Now it's no one who's by himself, manages to get himself out with the jaunt. Vega lost 2, 1 down for VP currently. But Aloha Dance, again, did buy back to make that happen. Roche is going to be respawning in 30, and it looks like Vega just going to go ahead and lick their wounds and back up.
Yeah, that was a really good team fight for Vega until the Doom bought back, as you talked about. He was able to get the Doom, and then they were heavy committing past the towers, so eventually they were punished. But, I mean, you're just going to have to TP out. Yules? There we go.
Got him. And this is going to be a free one. Oh, no, never mind. Here we go. Yoku trying to get in and get something done. Doesn't matter. FN able to
nice blink.
Secure the kill. And Yoku's going to be careful here. Everyone's back up from Vega. Okay, he's going to make it back to the loving embrace of his teammates. But, yeah, Roche, I would imagine, probably the next side of the next big battle, huh?
They just can't kill this puck, man. I'm so worried for them. They get a shackle on him. They try to do everything. I mean, you even saw them trying to kill off Solo in that last team fight, and then you have Grave to work with.
Yep.
I'm just like, how do you kill all this sustain, all this survivability right now? And like you said, this Roche is going to be hot contention. I feel like if VP don't get it, it's lights out.
I'll tell you what's so rough about Dazzle Enchantress. Enchantress is a hero who, when she's this far ahead, and she's working on a scepter now more than halfway there, those extra few seconds, even if you focus fire, even if you 5-man tunnel visioner, those extra few seconds at all, that you have at all because of Untouchable and so on, anything you can do, she's like, unless you're just right on top of her all at once, she's going to be pounding damage onto somebody. And even if you do manage to bring her down eventually, the damage is already done. And I think Vega have really done a great job of that. Not that they've been able to kill Solo much at all. I mean, he's sitting at 1,600 HP, 6-1 and 6, so great game from him.
Yeah, if you're killing off the support Enchantress, you're just going to have a free roaming, puck and a Spectre. It's a lose-lose situation all around for VP. And
well, looks like Roche not going to be contested as VP.
Yeah, they have a nice vision around, scouting out where they are. They don't have to feel very pressured or insecure.
We have talked almost none about FN for the most part, other than when he shows up in these fights. He's been looking pretty solid, but his net worth is still below the Bucks. So FN with his Manta done, now going Diffusal. And I don't even know he's going to have time to get it up. I think one more.
Look at their stats there for the kills. They're like dead even with kills and assists.
Oh, yeah.
5-1 and 5-0, but just the puck putting on a clank. He has Lincolns now. Oh, my goodness. No one is going to be immortal.
Up, here we go. They're going to engage. Nope, Solo was sprouted in. FN Solo pushed in mid to make sure. There we go. There's going to be, it's only a 1-man coil, though. Aloha Dance was caught. Here we go. Haunts in. And FN's actually in some trouble. Aloha Dance is going to be roared. Hasn't used Doom yet. Can they bring him down before he gets the Doom off? No, he did manage to get it off. Now he's going to be chased back. Not that it matters tremendously. That's 2 down. Wind Rangers bought back. Don't know that it's going to matter as Vega still has all 5 standing, plus an Aegis up on FN. So FN.
No one? Oh, my. Oh. Wrecked in the fountain. He's just styling on people. Please, where'd my puck go?
That was weird. Now FN's going to come and be like, hey, leave him alone. Leave him alone.
This is my buddy.
Yep, this is garbage time as they are into the fountain diving phase. Diffusal blade bot from the enemy fountain, so very typical stuff. GG. So Vega Squadron putting on a bit of a clinic here. Virtus.Pro seemed like they came in with a game plan, but ultimately just unable to get items fast enough, unable to level up fast enough, and certainly unable to combat a really well-played puck and superior initiation on all fronts out of Vega.
You know what the exclamation on that game was? When you doom a puck Lincolns and you don't even get it off. That's just like, you lost. You just lost. Outplayed everywhere. Really well played from Vega. They just, you know, really well drafted, honestly. It's like an 80 to 20% kind of draft when you like,
Right.
How the hell does Ursa do anything in these team fights? He's getting kited constantly. We saw how ineffective the Lion was early on. He was just going around with no boots for like, the 8 minutes, and he just couldn't get anything done. Aloha dance, it was all on him early game to get something done with the Doom, but it's not an Earth Spirit, it's not a Bounty Hunter. You don't get that same effectiveness in lane, potential to kill people, so it just didn't work out for them.
I mean, when you look, the Wind Ranger mid didn't work out at all. G with another tough game, and it seems like he's had a rough couple of days, sitting at 0-6. The Lion, it's tough to lay it on No Fear, but 0-7, look at his inventory, man. Brown Boots, Wand is what he finished with a teleport. I mean, it just, again, there was...
All you need to do is, it's the same story as yesterday. You shut down G in the mid lane, and then all of a sudden, they have nothing. They have no follow-up, no backup plan, and it just all crumbles.
Well, that's game one, guys. Vega Squadron takes the win in about 26 minutes. Virtus.Pro going to look to shake it off and tie this series up. We'll find out if they can, but first, we're going to take a quick break. Then we'll check in with our panelists, see what they thought and see what they think looking ahead to game two. I'm Ayesee, that's Ryuu. We'll be right back.
E-Gaming Bets. We accept bets